Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni, Ayurvedic doctor and registered holistic nutritionist. I'm back today to discuss all about gut healing and gut repair. So we have discussed last week about the signs of gut imbalance. For this week, we are going to discuss more about rebalancing your gut with Ayurveda. So let's get started. If you have any questions for me, you can always, put it in the comments here, and I'll be more than happy to, discuss with you about those, or answer those for you. So let's get started. So what are some of the signs of unhealthy gut? We discussed that last time. I'm just going to do a shorter version today. One main thing about having a poor gut is you are bloated, you are constantly constipated, you may have a lot of burning sensation, any pain in the abdomen, and that is when your gut function is not optimal. So there are different kinds of agnis according to Ayurveda from a functional perspective. The fire situated in your belly is said to be Jataragni, the main fire that helps aid digestion of the food and also the absorption and metabolism. And that digestive fire is going to support all the other tissue fires. So the logic is that unless you break the food down, unless you digest it, unless you absorb the nutrients, your different tissue systems are not going to work well. You will never have optimal tissues, and that is why digestion is the primary key that you need to address and understand, right? So there are different kinds of imbalances. There are three imbalances of the digestive fire as seen in Ayurveda, and we can call this mandagni, when your digestive fire is very sluggish, right? So a sluggish digestive fire will be seen as even smaller quantities of food are not going to digest. You feel that the food sits like a rock and the food absolutely doesn't move, doesn't get digested, and it causes a lot of discomfort. And if you struggle with such a sluggish digestion, it will create ama or digestive toxicity in the system, which will make you more tired, fatigued, lethargic. The best way to help stoke a weak fire is to do intermittent fasting, right? So you can do intermittent fasting between meals. So when you're having your meals, have it at the proper time, but do not eat 6 or 8 times a day. You can have three square meals and try to avoid snacking at all. For a weak sluggish digestive fire, you can also add herbs. Certain things like a ginger tea would work fantastic. Adding some ginger is a digestive anti-inflammatory, and it also stokes your digestive fire, right? So that's the one thing you can do. You can start adding spices to your meals. So whether you like rosemary, whether you like thyme, whether you like oregano, you can start adding spices to your diet, and that is really going to help you with the digestion. I'm going to say a quick hi to Shobik. I'm going to say a quick hi to Warrior of 22, Tara, as well as Irina. Nice to see you all. We are discussing different types of digestion today, and we're discussing how to repair your gut using Ayurveda. So if you have questions, you can post it in the comments here. Now, the second kind of fire, or the abnormality of the digestive fire, is where you're having excess fire. This is like when you eat even heavier meals, you're digesting the food extremely fast, and it's creating a lot of burning, right? So it's like you have this stovetop cooking, or a stove where your fire is perpetually at the highest flame, and no matter what you add there, it's getting digested and burnt very fast, right? So for such a fiery digestion, you need to balance it by giving balancing the pitta and by cooling things off, right? This is also commonly seen in high pitta states. So if you have a lot of acid reflux, if you have burning sensation in the belly, if you have hives, histamine related conditions can be, a part of this scenario. So what you have to do is you have to soothe your digestive fire here, because it's extremely hot and chilly. Certain herbs like licorice would work fantastic here. Licorice will repair your gut. It will also soothe any of the irritation in the gut, right? Coconut water will help rebalance, it will help rehydrate because the high fire is creating a lot of the burning sensation, excess heat, and excess heat will make you dehydrated. So this will, help you take care of it. The third kind of fire abnormality is when it turns erratic, right? So if you're having the same food, some days it will digest the food, some days it will not digest the food. And that is a big abnormality of the fire, because it turns erratic. This is caused by vata related conditions or vata imbalances or excess vata in the system. And the best way to be able to repair this kind of digestion is to maintain a fixed routine, maintain a fixed eating schedule, and make sure that you're not, going to have um, a very disorganized life, right? So when you eat at proper times, your brain is going to signal your body to secrete the digestive enzymes, right? And because our bodies love routine, our bodies thrive with routine, especially a vata dominant personality type will thrive with a routine because all the mechanisms of the body will um, there will be a lot of comfort to the body because your body now knows, okay, this is the time to eat, this is the time to sleep, right? And that is how it will help you. So if you are a vata dominant person, or if you have this erratic digestion where sometimes it's digesting, sometimes it's not, it's creating a lot of bloating, then make sure breakfast, lunch, dinner is at perfect time. Do not eat between meals. And you can also drink things like ginger tea or peppermint tea to help with your digestion. So those are definitely some things that you can do. So, what is a good brand of coconut water? So, whenever you're looking for a good brand of coconut water, the one thing you need to look is no sugar added. Make sure there is not any additional sugar. Coconut water naturally will have about 10 grams of natural sugars. So, any organic brand, I think the King Island brand is the one we have in the store, but you could try other brands as well. And Vita Coco is another brand. I think Buddha or something is another brand, but make sure it does not have any um, additional, it's not pasteurized as well. If you can buy a fresh green coconut, right? In Canada, it's not always easy to find a fresh green coconut. But if you can buy a fresh green coconut and drink the water from it, that is even better. And this is a possibility in India or any tropical countries like Caribbean, but not in countries like Canada, right? So that will help with the repair. Hi, Isha, nice to see you here. We are discussing all about repairing the gut, right? So, another thing when it comes to repairing the gut, and again, this is something a lot of my practice is based on, is Nidana Parivarjan. So, what is impairing your gut? What you are reacting to? If you have any food sensitivities, that will create a lot of inflammation in the system and inflammation in the gut. Again, an example I can give you is I had a client today who was having a lot of whey based shakes, right? So she was having like a breakfast shake, a lunch shake, and the protein shake she was having, she was sensitive to. And that is the reason why she was constantly bloated and had a lot of stomach cramps. So when you take the food out that's bothering you, that will help ease off the inflammation, that will help repair the gut. So what can you do is write down everything that you're eating and see how you feel with it, right? So if a lot of spices are irritating your gut, like ginger or even cinnamon or cloves or any sharp spices, you can take that out of your diet. If vinegars, you have too much of vinegars, that's upsetting your stomach or creating acidity, you can take that out. Tomatoes can build up a lot of acidity, and if you are eating pastas all the time with tomato sauce, try taking it out and see if you start feeling better, right? So this is called Nidana Parivarjan, so avoiding what's causing your disease or condition, and that will seem to work extremely well. Now, because we are talking about gut repair, right now in the modern holistic world, there are um, bone broths which are extremely popular as a form of gut repair, right? So why bone broths work is because they have collagen in them, and also because they have a lot of minerals. They are nutritively rich. A bone broth can be made easily at home. You can take bones, you can add vegetables to it, like vegetable scraps. You can add 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and cook it for a longer time. So when you cook it for a longer time, like 24 to 36 hours, what happens is all the minerals from the bone, they're going to be extracted into the broth, and the broth becomes a nutrient rich broth. If you add things like chicken feet, you will also get more collagen. There is some collagen in the bones as well, but if you add things like chicken feet, you will get more collagen, you will get more gelatin, which can also help repair the gut, right? So that is one strategy. You can start drinking a cup of broth every day. You can make a vegetarian or even a vegan broth with vegetables if that's one thing that you prefer. And broths are usually rich in minerals which will assist the repair of the body, so that is something you can definitely do. Another option for you, I will discuss about psyllium husk. Most definitely. Now, people who have histamine intolerance, if you have a lot of hives, itching, or any histamine related issues where you're sneezing constantly, you can go on my website and there is a checklist for histamine intolerance. If you have histamine intolerance, then I would not do bone broths. They may actually be detrimental to you, right? Another of my favorite thing that really repairs the gut, if you have a lot of irritation in the gut, certain herbs will help repair it. An example is licorice, as I mentioned before. Make sure you are not on any blood pressure medication when you're taking licorice, right? Because licorice will increase the blood pressure. If you struggle with blood pressure, then ideally consult with a practitioner before you take it. Aloe vera is fantastic. So, aloe vera gel is really good to help repair your gut. Again, if you're on prescription drugs, please consult with a practitioner. Certain herbs like slippery elm or marshmallow root, having some issues with my throat. Um, so, slippery elm, marshmallow root, aloe vera, licorice, they're all really good for repairing your gut. In terms of amino acids, and now this is the modern perspective, glutamine can help repair your gut. So, something like fermented glutamine, you can find it here at Blue Water Nutrition or at health food stores as well. You can find fermented glutamine. That is technically not Ayurvedic, it's more a nutraceutical, but definitely you can take that. Now, psyllium husk is another very good question. So, psyllium husk can soothe an irritated stomach, and it can also bind a lot of toxins because it's a fiber, right? If you are someone who struggles with chronic constipation, psyllium husk may bind you more. But if you have excess heat in the belly, excess heat in the gut, which is seen as burning sensation when you have a bowel movement, or high amounts of acid reflux, or any reddish rashes in the body, redness, soreness of mouth, that shows you have high pitta, high heat in the system. In such a situation, psyllium husk, a teaspoon in either warm milk or warm water, is going to help flush it out of the system, right? So, this is a little information on gut repair from an Ayurvedic perspective. I started off by discussing three kinds of malfunctions of digestive fire, where your digestion can become super sluggish, or there can be a state where there is hypermetabolism and an extremely strong sharp fire which will digest everything and create lots of burning, or there is a condition where the digestion becomes totally erratic. Sometimes you digest it, sometimes you don't. When the fire is weak, you will have to stoke it. Things like ginger tea help. When the fire is too sharp, you will have to make it blunt. So, eating heavier portions of meat, balancing the pitta is important. And when the fire is erratic, then you have to make sure your timings are perfect. You're following a routine, you're bringing a lot of the ease, and then you're stoking the fire, right? So, today for the cleanse, this is the same topic that I discussed in the morning. for the Ayurveda Spring Reset. It was a longer session. I described everything in detail. And when you think about your belly's digestion mechanism as a fire, it makes a lot more sense and a lot can be done. Then we also discuss some general, things that are really good for the gut, like licorice is soothing, slippery elm marshmallow root is soothing, aloe vera is soothing. Again, if you're on prescriptions, please talk to a practitioner before you take this, or at least talk to your pharmacist. So that's a little take on repairing your gut with Ayurveda. Now, for most people in today's world, the digestive fire is sluggish. So, in about 80% of the clients that I'll see, right, 70 to 80% to be more precise, there will be a sluggish digestive fire. There will be about 25-ish% with the erratic digestion, and I've only seen 5% in terms of the general practice I'm talking about. I've seen only 5% clients who have this hyper digestion, which is very sharp, and there's a lot of pitta related inflammation, right? So most diseases, again from an Ayurvedic perspective, are caused because of the sluggish digestion. So make sure you're always protecting your digestive fire, right? Your digestive fire, your digestive juices, your digestion is extremely crucial for all the tissue systems of the body. So you have to make sure that your digestive fire is really strong, and that is when you are going to see the maximum results, right? So I will end this session today. I will see you next week, Wednesday, at the same time, 12 o'clock. This month, we are discussing all about digestion. So next week, too, let me see what's the topic for next week. Yeah, April topics. Yeah. So, 5 things to do to get rid of bloating and gas. That's what we're going to talk about next week. We will discuss what exactly happens, like why are we bloated or gassy. So, we'll be discussing that, and we will talk about certain foods that can bloat you, and we will talk about 5 things you can do to get rid of bloating. So, thank you for watching. I will see you soon next week. Bye for now.